in the story, a time where humans have figured out 3 different ways to become immortal so they can live forever. The first way is through something called cyboxes, which are basically humans enhanced with cybernetic parts. The second way is through sins, which are beings made entirely of artificial intelligence. The third way is through synthetic beings that still have a bit of human consciousness left in them because they are a mix of human and machine. They're called hybrids. Now, the big deal here is that whichever of these 3 technologies ends up on top, meaning the one that manages to control everyone else, will get to rule the entire world. Then, the story shifts to a spaceship named the Magino. This ship has been out on a mission for the last 65 years. We see these sleeping pods where people are tucked away in what's called cryosleep. Eventually, a few people wake up to take a little break from their long slumber. These are the crew members. Right away, Captain Dunstall mentions that the code system is down and the lock files have been corrupted. He thinks it might just be a small glitch, but since they are burning through way too much fuel, he orders them to shut down at least one of the systems. One of the mechanics speaks up and says he thinks they should just get rid of one of the aliens they have on the ship, or maybe even all of them. However, the security cyborg speaks up and reminds him that these creatures are actually the main focus of their entire mission. Without them, all their research would be totally pointless. Next, we see a scientist busy feeding these really strange-looking aliens. Some of them are tiny and kept in little capsules, but there are also some very big and very dangerous ones in there. They check all the systems to make sure everything is running perfectly. Once that's done, the crew can go back to their cryosleep to finish their rest. On the other side of things, we are shown a research facility down on the ground called Neverland. It's owned by a big corporation. We meet a girl there named Marcy. Someone is teaching her about scorpions when a doctor named Sylvia walks in and says that everything is ready. It turns out Marcy is actually very sick, and they are taking her to the operating room to move her brain into a synthetic body. The founder of the company explains that Marcy is going to be the very first person to ever be transferred from a human body into a synthetic one, making her the world's first hybrid. As she's hooked up to the machine, her childhood memories start flooding back while her mind moves into its new home. After the procedure is over, we see that Marcy is completely healthy and has some amazing new abilities, like being able to jump down from really high places without getting hurt. They give her a new name, Wendy. The tricky part is that since synthetic bodies don't grow, she's been put into an adult-sized body, even though her mind is still just a child's. A man named Kirsch explains that these fake bodies can't make the hormones that real humans have, so Wendy won't feel emotions or moods anymore. Dr. Sylvia mentions that more kids will be coming to the facility soon, and the company will help them all through this same transition. When the other kids arrive, Wendy spends a lot of time with them, showing off how strong she is by letting them hang from her arms. One by one, all the children get their new bodies and forget all about being sick. They are all given the group name, the Lost Boys. Meanwhile, back on the Magino spaceship, a strange creature is caught running through the halls. Total chaos breaks out. The creature starts causing a huge mess, and a character named Smee starts yelling while the alarms go off. A man named Morrow hides in the computer room and talks to the ship's AI. He explains that all their samples are gone and they've lost everything. Suddenly, another crew member named Zavary shows up and starts pounding on the door to get in. Instead of letting her in, Morrow turns his arm into a blowtorch and welds the door shut. Just then, a creature appears and kills Zavary right there. Morrow tells the AI that the whole crew is dead. The creature starts banging on his door and even breaks the glass. Morrow tells the AI that they have to crash the ship into Earth as fast as possible because these creatures are now the top priority. Morrow hides in a port while the alien attacks it, but it can't get to him. He then gets ready for the crash landing. At the same time, we see a man named Hermit arrive in a city called New Sam, which is run by that same big corporation. Wendy spots him on a security camera, and we learn his story. He also works for the corporation, and he actually believes his sister Marcy died a long time ago. Seeing him makes her remember her childhood. Hermit is up on a rooftop talking to a coworker when he suddenly feels the whole building shake. Right at that moment, the Magino crashes into the city with a giant explosion. Hermit and his team run down to help get people out before they get trapped under the rubble. While they are looking for survivors, they end up near the crashed ship and climb inside through a hole. We go back to Morrow, who uses his transforming arm to get out of the room where he survived the crash. He walks through the ship and sees the bodies of his crew everywhere. When he spots Hermit's team on the security cameras, he calls the company to tell them to stop the team and warns them about the danger. Wendy, who has been watching all of this on the screens, suggests that her team should be sent in too. So, her team heads out under Kirsch's lead. On the ship, 2 of Hermit's team members are looking for survivors. As they search, these leech-like aliens drop from the ceiling and try to crawl into their shirts. Morrow shows up and takes the soldiers hostage. After Morrow leaves, those same alien bugs crawl into the men's heads and slowly kill them by eating their brains. In the science labs, Hermit and 2 others find a port filled with bodies. They try to call headquarters, but their radios are acting up. When Hermit looks closer at the bodies, he realizes they've been dead for 2 weeks. He doesn't notice that one of the bodies is actually an alien. He goes into another room and finds even more dead people. When the 3 of them leave the ship and start searching a nearby building, they have no idea that an alien called a Xenomorph is stalking them. They head up the stairs and find a door with a huge hole in it. Hermit's friend jumps across and makes it, but gets hurt. The next friend jumps too, but the floor gives way. Luckily, the first friend catches him. Before Hermit can make the jump, he feels something like spit land on his shoulder. He looks up and sees the Xenomorph right there on the roof. Hermit runs for his life while trying to use his radio. We see a flashback where Hermit had asked to quit his job so he could go to medical school, but the company wouldn't let him and made him work for 7 more months. Wendy is watching all of this on the cameras. When Kirsch's team arrives, Wendy hears a weird sound that nobody else can hear. She hacks into the security cameras and sees her brother, Hermit, trapped in an elevator, so she runs into the building. As she gets closer, the sound gets louder. Kirsch and the rest of the Lost Boys are with her. As they go into the ship, they see alien plants stuck to the ceiling and blood everywhere. They even see a cat with an alien inside its eye. The little alien pops out and takes the cat's eye with it. That same small alien tries to attack a team member, but she grabs it and they trap it on a tray. Kirsch hooks the alien's body to a computer and finds out it was part of a research project. Hermit keeps looking around and finds a man. They go to an apartment and knock on the door, where a costume party is happening. Suddenly, a Xenomorph shows up and instantly kills the man who was with Hermit. This set off the man's gun, making the party host run away in terror. But the door stays open and the Xenomorph enters the party and starts killing all the guests. It picks up the body of Hermit's friend and throws it at Hermit. Soon, the room is full of dead bodies. The Xenomorph jumps from a balcony to kill Hermit, but Morrow shows up just in time and uses an electric gun to stun both the alien and Hermit. When Hermit reaches the elevator, company soldiers try to arrest him. While they are arguing, the Xenomorph wakes up and kills the soldiers. It's about to kill Morrow, but it hears a noise and runs away. Meanwhile, Kirsch is looking through the ship's computer files. He finds video of some creepy alien egg patches and shows it to Wendy. He also reads that there are 5 undiscovered species on their way. A man named Cavalier contacts them and says they need to bring all the surviving species to them. When Hermit wakes up, he's in a very fancy apartment. He finds a signed football and starts remembering his childhood. That's when Wendy finds him and quietly tells him to come with her. The 3 of them head for the elevator, not knowing someone else is in the shaft. While they are in the hallway, she finally tells Hermit who she really is. Hermit doesn't believe her at first, so he asks her questions about their childhood. When she gets every answer right, Hermit starts crying and gives her a big hug. Then, the 3 of them find a patch of eggs. Wendy starts hearing those strange noises again. One of the eggs starts moving, and suddenly, a Xenomorph appears and snatches Hermit away. Wendy chases after them. Hermit is trapped in a shipping container. The Xenomorph is growling at them, and they can hear it walking on top of the container. Wendy waits for the right moment and kicks the ceiling to hurt the alien. She starts bleeding, and because she's synthetic, her blood is like acid and burns a hole in the ceiling. The Xenomorph pushes the container, making it fall, and Hermit loses sight of Wendy. The alien moves toward Hermit, but Wendy grabs it from behind. She pulls it toward a door, and Hermit slams the door shut, cutting the alien's jaw. But the angry alien pulls Wendy into the door with it. Hermit bites Cavalier to get the door open again. When it opens, he sees the alien is pretty banged up. Both Hermit and Wendy faint. We then see Morrow, whose brain is hooked up to a computer. Kirsch and Morrow get into an argument about who really owns the ship. Suddenly, an egg opens up, and Morrow jumps out. The corporation team shows up and rounds up the Lost Boys, the rescue team, and the alien samples to take them to Neverland. While Dr. Sylvia is working on repairing Wendy, Kirsch gets nervous every time an egg opens. One egg opens, and he gets dragged away. They realize the eggs only react when something living is nearby. So, Cavalier puts Kirsch in charge of the aliens. That evening, Morrow manages to get into the city. He steals someone's phone and calls the CEO of the company. He says he has the data, but not the creatures yet, though he's working on getting them because it's been his life's work. We also find out Morrow had a daughter. Meanwhile, Wendy wakes up feeling better, but she still hears those sounds, so she follows them. In the lab, Kirsch and two Lost Boys are cutting open an egg. They find an alien called a face hugger, and its scream is so loud and scary that Wendy collapses. We see Hermit in an operating room where they are taking out his lung and kidney to keep them in tubes. Kirsch shows up and puts a parasite into a tank so it can crawl into Hermit's lung. Wendy tells everyone she's hearing weird noises and wonders why she's the only one who can hear them. It's like the aliens are trying to talk to her. Cavalier asks if she can copy the sounds. She does, and it sounds very strange to everyone. In the lab, there's an eye alien in a glass case with a sheep. The alien jumps on the sheep, kills it, and takes its eye. A boy named Arthur doesn't like that the aliens are there. He suspects the company murdered 6 children just to make a super advanced AI. Then a girl named Nibs comes in and says she's pregnant. Arthur says that's impossible for someone with a mechanical body. Nibs insists it's real, but Dr. Sylvia says it can't be. Later, Cavalier tells Wendy he'll send Hermit home if she helps them with their xenomorph research. Later on, Wendy goes into the lab and makes those strange sounds to talk to the alien and Hermit's lungs. Suddenly, a baby xenomorph crawls out of Hermit's lungs, but Wendy uses the sounds to calm it down and even pets it. Kirsch watches this from far away. Then we see a flashback of the Magino crew. They are in trouble, and facehuggers have escaped. One killed the captain, and another attached itself to someone else. Morrow finds a crew member named Runelf dead. Another named Bronsky is still alive, so they try to put him in cryosleep with the alien still on him, but it fails. The facehugger kills Bronsky and escapes. Morrow gives a man an electric gun. Other crew members wake up and realize another alien is loose. One crew member is bleeding and has dark spots inside him. While doctors are operating, they think they found ticks, but the ticks spray a gas that kills the doctors. Alien bugs burst out of the man's body. Another xenomorph shows up to attack. Morrow takes over the ship and tells everyone they are heading for Earth. On his way through the ship, someone shoots at him. Morrow hides an injured man in the lab, but the shooter finds them and kills the man. Morrow eventually kills the shooter with a blade. However, the eye alien escapes the lab because the door was left open. Back in the medical bay, a xenomorph attacks Zaveri and breaks her legs with its tail. She tries to run and locks a door, but the alien gets through and keeps chasing her. She finally locks herself behind a blue door. Morrow is hiding in the computer room while someone else is outside fighting the xenomorph. The alien that came out of that person's body attacks the xenomorph's face, giving Zaveri a chance to run. She begs Morrow for help, but he just welds the door shut and doesn't care if she dies. The ship crashes, and a few days later, Morrow meets with the corporation and promises to get the alien samples, while also planning to kill Cavalier. Back in the present, the baby xenomorph is locked up. Wendy keeps visiting it, which worries Hermit. He wants to leave, but Wendy wants to stay and do research. Nibs is getting tested because she still thinks she's pregnant. The scientists are confused, and a boy suggests Arthur should wipe her memory. Arthur is too kind to do it, but Dr. Kremble. Sylvia agrees to do it anyway and fires Arthur. Meanwhile, the corporation and Cavalier are blaming each other for the crash. After Nibs's memory is wiped, Wendy tells Sylvia that the real problem isn't the aliens, it's the people. Just then, an accident happens in the lab. A man accidentally lets an alien out, and it kills him with acid. Arthur and another man go into the lab, but the man tricks Arthur and locks him in with the alien. Soon, the aliens escape and start killing the scientists. Wendy lets the Xenomorph out so it can help them. With Arthur's help, a barmaid turns off their trackers, and Wendy, Hermit, and Nibs run into the woods. There, they find the graves of the real children whose minds were put into the hybrid bodies. Soldiers show up, but Wendy calls the Xenomorph, and it kills them. When they get to some docks, more soldiers are waiting. A soldier throws Nibs's toy into the water, and she gets so mad she attacks him and breaks his jaw. A huge fight breaks out, and Wendy and Nibs use their robot strength to fight the soldiers. Hermit manages to stop Nibs, but they all get captured. While the Xenomorph is busy killing people all over the island, Wendy hacks into the facility's computers. She shows Sylvia all the crimes they've committed and sets off a self-destruct alarm. A fight breaks out between Morrow and Kirsch. Morrow is losing, and everything is falling apart. A man named Adam tricks Hermit, and an alien attacks him, but Wendy saves him by hacking the systems to freeze the alien's body. In the final scene, Cavalier tries to run away and offers $1 million reward to anyone who helps him. Wendy calls the Xenomorph, which kills all his guards. Hermit knocks Cavalier out, and Wendy locks up all the bad scientists and leaders. Sylvia, Adam, Morrow, Kirsch, and Cavalier in a cell. She announces that from now on, the hybrids and the aliens will be the ones in charge, not the humans. The story ends right there.